Picture this. You stand in the middle of a crowd, and every eye is fixed on you. Not with admiration, with suspicion, with quiet rage. You've done nothing except refuse to kneel. You didn't chant their slogans. You didn't clap at the right time. You stood still when they demanded you bow. And in that instant, you became dangerous. This is the reality Nietzsche warned about. The herd does not hate evil. It hates difference. The crowd's greatest fear isn't the tyrant or the criminal. It's the free man who thinks for himself, because the individual exposes their cowardice. The individual is a mirror they cannot bear to look into. And so most people run back into the cage. They call it safety. They call it normal. They tell themselves they are good citizens, loyal friends, humble believers. But strip away the masks, and you will find the truth. Most people fear freedom because freedom makes excuses impossible. Freedom means you can't blame your parents, your boss, your government, or your gods. Freedom means you own the weight of your failure, the shame of your weakness, the blood of your betrayals. And most men cannot carry that cross. They want the chains, polished, decorated, disguised as belonging. But listen carefully. The herd offers belonging only to devour you, to strip you of edge, of will, of fire, to neuter you into silence. This lecture is not theory. It is a call to arms, a war for the soul. And I will not whisper comfort into your ears. I will drag you into the fire, because only in fire does the individual emerge, scarred, unbroken, unchained. The question is simple. Will you remain cattle, or will you dare to stand alone? Most people don't want freedom. They want permission to stay weak. That's the first truth you need to carve into your skull. When they chant about liberty, what they mean is comfort. When they talk about choice, what they demand is convenience. And when they say safety, they mean slavery with softer walls. Look around. Every system is built to keep you calm, compliant, sedated. Entertainment to distract you. Credit systems to keep you indebted. Algorithms to feed you just enough outrage to feel alive without ever acting. The herd is not chained by iron anymore. It is chained by pleasure, by dopamine, by the narcotic glow of endless scrolling, endless consumption, endless noise. And the cruelest part? They chose it. Nietzsche called it out over a century ago. Man is terrified of true freedom because it demands responsibility. If you are free, then your failures are yours. Your mediocrity is yours. Your wasted years are yours. And most people cannot stomach that weight. They would rather kneel and blame. Blame their leaders. Blame their families. Blame the system. Anything to avoid the mirror. I know this because I've lived it. There was a time when I clung to excuses like armor. I told myself the world was unfair, that others had advantages I never had, that I was held back, that I was cursed. But the truth was simpler. I was afraid to stand naked in front of freedom, afraid to admit that every day I refused to sharpen my will. I chose weakness, afraid to face the fact that my chains were voluntary, and so are yours. Understand this. The cage feels safe only because you've never tested its door. Step outside and you will taste fear. You will taste isolation. You will feel the raw wind of accountability tear across your face. But in that pain, there is life. There is blood. There is the first spark of becoming. The herd will laugh at you. They will call you reckless, arrogant, ungrateful. Why? Because your freedom exposes their chains. Because every step you take outside their prison mocks their cowardice. And they would rather drag you back than face their own reflection. So here is your non-negotiable challenge. Tonight, strip one chain from your life. One lie you keep telling yourself to stay comfortable. One crutch you lean on to avoid your own will. Cut it, burn it, and watch how quickly the herd snarls. That's when you'll know you're finally walking free. Freedom is not safety. Freedom is danger. And if you are not willing to risk danger, you are not worthy of freedom. The crowd is not your ally. The crowd is your executioner. You think the herd protects you? That it shelters you? That belonging gives you strength? Look closer. The herd doesn't elevate. It flattens. It doesn't nurture. It consumes. It will clap when you conform, cheer when you obey, and crucify you the moment you dare to step outside its rhythm. Why? Because the herd is terrified of the one who walks alone. The herd lives on instinct, fear, envy, mimicry. It has no conscience, only appetite. And the one who stands apart is a threat, not because he harms them, but because his very existence unmasks their cowardice. Nietzsche wrote that madness is rare in individuals, but common in crowds. You've seen it, the digital mob frothing with rage over a tweet. Cancel culture feeding on the blood of one scapegoat, only to demand another sacrifice tomorrow. Do you think these mobs act from principle? No, they act from hunger. They feed on the weak, but they despise the strong even more, because strength reminds them of what they forfeited. I've watched it up close. A man begins to rise. He trains harder, works later, speaks bolder. At first, his friends cheer. They say, "We're proud of you." But when he keeps rising, when he starts to leave them behind, his celebration curdles. Suddenly, he's arrogant. Suddenly, he's selfish. Suddenly, he's changed. And the whispers turn into knives. Not because he betrayed them, but because he outgrew them. That's the seduction of the herd. It tells you applause equals love, that belonging equals safety. But their cheers are chains. Their approval is the leash around your neck. And the moment you stop dancing to their tune, they will turn. So burn this into your blood. The crowd's validation is worthless. Their praise is as empty as their condemnation. If you build your life on their approval, you are already dead. What does this mean for you, here, now? It means you must practice exile. Walk alone. Train alone. Think alone. Be prepared to leave the table where everyone else feasts, because the food is poison. It is comfort dressed as loyalty. It is mediocrity dressed as friendship. Your challenge. Walk away from applause. The next time the herd tempts you with belonging, the easy laugh, the easy approval, the easy like, step back. Refuse it. Let the silence burn. Let the loneliness sting. That is the price of becoming. Remember this truth. The herd will always outnumber you, but it will never outwill you, unless you kneel. So do not kneel. The herd will betray you the second you stand taller. Do not mistake their smiles, their handshakes, their cheers. All of it is conditional. All of it is rented. The moment your path no longer serves their comfort, they will turn. And the knife will not come from your enemies. It will come from those you trusted. This is the law of the crossroads. The point where your growth collides with their fear. The point where your courage becomes their accusation. When you choose the road upward, you make their excuses impossible. You remind them that they could have chosen discipline, hunger, fire, but instead they chose sleep. And rather than rise, they will drag you down. I have seen it with my own blood. Friends who swore loyalty until my ambition made them restless. Brothers who laughed with me until my discipline shamed their laziness. Lovers who whispered forever until my purpose burned brighter than their comfort. Every betrayal carried the same sting. Not that they left, but that they revealed themselves. Understand this. Betrayal is not an accident. It is the herd protecting itself. The moment you rise above, you expose their cowardice. And cowards cannot forgive the mirror. They will spit on it. They will shatter it. They will try to shatter you. And here is where most men fall. They stumble back into the crowd, apologizing for their own strength. They dim their fire to save relationships already poisoned by envy. They crawl back to be accepted again, not realizing that what they crawl back into is a grave. This is where you must harden. At the crossroads, betrayal is proof you are walking the right path. It is the cost of ascent. Do not curse it, wield it. Let betrayal cut away the weak bonds, the false loyalties, the parasites who clung to your ankles. Each knife in your back is a map. Each scar is a direction forward. What does this mean for you? It means expect it. Do not be surprised when the laughter fades, when the hands withdraw, when the circle closes without you. It means sharpen yourself through it. Turn their envy into your discipline. Turn their rejection into your independence. And most of all, do not crawl back. Here is your challenge. Think of the one betrayal you still carry, the friend who abandoned you, the lover who sold you out, the family who mocked your ambition. Stop resenting them. Stop replaying the wound. Instead, engrave it into your armor. Let that pain become fuel. The betrayal at the crossroads was not a curse. It was your initiation. Remember this. If you have not been betrayed, you have not yet stood tall enough. Freedom isn't liberation. Freedom is crucifixion. You were told freedom is light, effortless, a gift wrapped in flags and songs. Lies. Freedom is a burden so heavy, most men collapse beneath it. Because real freedom means this: no excuses, no saviors, no one left to blame. The moment you claim freedom, you inherit everything you've been running from. Every wasted hour, every failure you can't bury, every cowardly decision. They all come crawling back, screaming, "You chose this." And now you have no shield, no herd to hide behind, no master to take responsibility. That is why most men fear it. They crave chains because chains come with alibis. I had no choice. It wasn't my fault. The system made me do it. But freedom rips those crutches from your hands. Freedom forces you to stand, naked and unarmed, before the brutal truth. Your life is yours, and so is your failure. I felt that weight the first time I broke away. No safety net, no applause, just silence. I thought I wanted it. I thought I was ready. Then came the loneliness. The nights where you stare at the ceiling, knowing no one is coming to rescue you. The mornings where discipline is your only companion, and comfort whispers to crawl back to the herd. That silence, that emptiness, that is freedom. But buried in that silence is the fire. Freedom demands you build yourself from nothing. It is the forge where weakness burns away, where excuses melt, where only steel remains. That is why Nietzsche spoke of becoming who you are, because freedom forces you to create yourself or collapse. The modern world sells you fake freedom. Pre-packaged identities, political tribes, digital masks. Be yourself, they chant, as long as yourself is a pre-approved template. But the real thing? The raw, merciless freedom of defining your own life? That is exile. That is terror. That is weight. And that is the only kind that matters. So here is your challenge. Stop romanticizing freedom as comfort. If you dare to be free, then stop hiding behind your job title, your culture, your politics, your trauma. Tear it all off. Stand in the crucible with nothing but your will. Build from there. Fail from there. Rise from there. Understand this. Freedom is not given. It is carried. And if you cannot carry it, you don't deserve it. Most men beg for comfort. The few ignite themselves in fire. This is the final divide. Not wealth, not status, not luck. The true division between the herd and the individual is this. One avoids suffering. The other weaponizes it. The herd sees pain as punishment. They run from it. They medicate it. They drown it in entertainment, substances, distraction. They call this healing. But what they really mean is sedation. They don't heal, they numb. And in numbing, they stay weak. The warrior, the individual, does something entirely different. He takes pain and burns it into strength. He refuses anesthesia. He faces the flame and lets it strip him raw. He bleeds but he bleeds forward. Every scar becomes a reminder. I survived what should have broken me, and now I am unbreakable. This is why Nietzsche wrote, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," misquoted by the weak as a cliché, misunderstood by the herd as optimism. But for the warrior, it is blood truth. Suffering is the forge. Hardship is the hammer. Fire is the only path to steel. I know this because every real transformation in my life came through pain, not through ease, not through applause, through failure so crushing it nearly destroyed me, through betrayal that left me hollow, through loneliness so sharp it gnawed at my bones. And yet, those wounds became my arsenal. They cut away illusions, stripped me to essence, and forced me to build anew. You know this too. Think back to your hardest moment. The night you thought you couldn't go on. The heartbreak that shattered you. The defeat that made you want to quit. Did it destroy you? No, you're still here, which means it made you stronger, which means you already know the truth. The fire doesn't to consume you. It forges you. The herd will beg for escape. They will beg for anesthesia, for someone to take the weight away. Let them. You are not them. You must carry your suffering until it sharpens you into a blade. You must embrace the nights where comfort whispers, and you must spit in its face, because those nights are when the fire does its work. Your challenge is this. Stop asking, why me? Start asking, how can this wound become my weapon? Stop resenting the scar. Claim it as your crown. Every tear you shed is proof you were tested. Every scar you wear is proof you endured. Stop hiding them. Show them. Let them blaze. Because a man who fears pain will always be owned. But a man who masters it, he becomes untouchable. The truth is brutal. And Nietzsche never softened it for you. You will suffer. You will break. You will taste betrayal, rejection, and despair. And you will either rot in self-pity, or you will carve that pain into a weapon sharper than anything your enemies could imagine. The world doesn't care about your excuses. The herd doesn't care about your scars. Fate doesn't bend for tears. It bends for will. And Nietzsche's challenge is clear. Do not seek escape. Do not seek comfort. Seek transformation. Every wound is a forge. Every humiliation is a hammer. Every night of agony is an invitation to rise with blood in your mouth and steel in your soul. Because power is not given. It is extracted from suffering. And if you cannot endure your suffering, you cannot endure your destiny. So the final question is simple. Will you stay weak-chained, silenced, a slave to comfort? Or will you stand taller, burn hotter, and weaponize every scar until the world trembles at the strength you built from your pain? This is not philosophy. This is war. And it starts in your chest right now. So stop waiting. Stop bargaining with life. Pick up your suffering. Shoulder it. Own it. And when they ask how you survived, tell them the truth. I did not survive. I was reborn through fire. This is your call. This is your challenge. This is your crown of scars. Subscribe to the Inner Citadel Project and comment the one pain you refuse to run from anymore. Because if you're not turning your suffering into strength, you're already defeated.